Tell me, are you on the struggle bus while trying to manage time for your kids and yourself, let alone your husband? Was the last adult conversation you had with your husband about half asleep over a bowl of mac and cheese? Well, as a mom of littles, it can be a major challenge when your kids are so demanding to carve out special time for you and your husband. However, it's not impossible. Today, I'm sharing with you my 3 personal favorite hacks that'll work for any family to free up time and energy for any mom to give you that couple time you need. So go ahead, mom. I give you full permission to grab your green juice or smoothie, and let's get you and your hubs staring into each other's eyes by the end of this week. Hey, mama. Welcome to the Energized Mama podcast. Do you want a better work-life balance and more time and energy? Do you find yourself thinking, how can I add more hours into the day? Or are you Googling how to deal with mom guilt and can my marriage survive toddlers? Do you wake up with big goals only to feel overwhelmed and defeated when you have no one to help you and your littles aren't listening to you again? Hey, I'm Cheyanne. I too was an exhausted mom away from the help of my family. I too felt constantly drained with a strong-willed toddler and wished I could find balance between being a wife, a mom, stepmom, and entrepreneur. I wanted more energy to give myself and my husband, to discipline my kids confidently, and incorporate faith into our home. All the things, right? But I kept telling myself that I couldn't do it feeling this exhausted and without a community supporting around me. Until I found a healthy balance and endless energy in raising Jesus-loving littles. In this podcast, you will find that too. You will find time and energy boosting tips and tricks, guidance for disciplining your littles, and what to do when you have no help so that you will find balance between all your roles. Stop feeling drained and learn to trust your own mom tuition. Time to grab those headphones, pour that green smoothie, and get ready to get your daily energy boost. I've got you, mama. Okay, ladies, we're going to dive right in. I promised you 3 hacks, and I have actually used each and every one of these hacks. It's something I swear and I live by, okay? So we're going to dive right in right away. Hack number 1 is to swap time with other parents in your life. Chances are that you have other families in your life, right? Maybe they're located at your kids' local daycare or their preschool. Maybe they're friends from church or play groups. And I have to let you know, guess what? They need date nights too. And the best way that you can do this in a very cost-effective way for you to do this is just to swap dates. So it can look something as simple as this, that you go over to their kid's house and you could even bring your kids along and you watch their kids. And then at another time, then you guys also have that opportunity to go ahead and have them come over to your house and watch their kids or your kids. What's great is that you know each other, your kids probably know each other. If they don't, you can always simulate some kind of a play date beforehand so the kids get comfortable with one another so that the parents have come to your house. But it is a great way for you to do it that's cheap, very cost effective, and a great way for you to help each other out, especially when you don't have friends or family around you to help one another out. Okay, mama, we're already into hack number 2. Hack number 2 is start a budget for a babysitter. So if you don't have family nearby that can help or are able to maybe physically take care of the demands of littles, it's time to ask for external help. One great way that you can do this is, again, with my hack number 1, of course, is you can always swap time with other parents, but you can also swap babysitters. If you're new to an area, or if you're new to finding a babysitter, ask around to the parents you know. Who do they trust? Who is someone that they use? Now, I know firsthand as being a nanny that there are some things that parents don't always like to share, and sometimes it is babysitters because they are concerned that, hey, you're going to take my girl when I need her. So something to keep in mind when you approach another mom is to suggest doing maybe a mutual babysitting night where your children would all be at one home and the babysitter could watch your littles all together, and then you guys can split the bill. So it makes it even more cost friendly to hire a babysitter when you can split it and do it all together, and then your kids have built-in playmates right there during your and your husband's date night. Now, something else that's a really pivotal question when you think about starting a budget for a babysitter, you want to ask yourself this question: do you need to save money from what your current income is, or do you need to increase your income? Because those are two different mindsets, right? In a way, if you have no necessary ability, time, or energy or focus in your life right now to increase income, maybe it's more about making some cutbacks, making sure that you put focus on and making a priority on saving money for a babysitter. Or is it, well, you know what? We are pretty strapped right now. I don't see any wiggle room. Maybe I should then focus on how can you increase your income. Now, I actually have an episode where a great friend of mine recently went deeper into this concept, and I'm going to list it in the show notes below, but it is my episode 34, and it's all about how to budget for family experiences versus giving your kids more stuff. So it's definitely a great one to dive into, and she helps you break apart that question and figure out how to answer it. A little separate caveat to this before we move on to hack number 3 is to look at how you can find a great babysitter with some experience. And if you don't have someone that you have been recommended or referred to, you can always go post an ad on a site like care.com, or maybe contact your local high school or college and see if they have a babysitters list. When I was in college in West Palm Beach, Florida, we had a babysitters list in our Student Success Center where young women and men would come put their names on a list and give some details about their credentials, a little bit of their personality. And so when a family was in need in the area, they could get our list and get to know and sift through the different choices, and then they could contact them on their own. And if you're looking for a more cost-effective option, some young adults, especially in college for specific degree programs, say they're studying, young childhood development, they could use babysitting hours as an internship or as volunteer hours. So there's all these different ways, again, to have the budget for a babysitter, that you just have to step outside your comfort zone a little bit, think a little differently, try some new things. And I'm really curious to see what works for you guys. So again, take these notes, and I'll have a way that you can let me know very soon in the latter part of the episode. And last but not least, we're already here to my hack number 3. So quick review. Hack number 1 was all about swapping time with other parents in your life. Number 2 was starting a budget for a babysitter. And number 3 is do your date night in. Yes, I have found a hugely overlooked concept for young parents is date night in, right? So often we think of, how can I just get a break from my toddlers? I want to get outside the house. And where I totally understand that, and I do believe that's important. However, not at the expense of your marriage. Not if it's the only way that you can spend time with your husband in this season that you're in right now, because we want to make sure we focus on where we are right now, not where we've been and not where we're going, but staying in the present. So if right now your only option is, whether it's because of financial or just lack of a village around you, to stay in, that is where I want you to focus, okay? Now, what it's going to take, though, however, is setting some boundaries with your toddlers. And you may be looking at me or maybe even rolling your eyes like, Cheyanne, is that even a thing? Is that even possible? Well, I'm going to give you some tips to how you can make this practical and possible for you to have a successful date night in, even when having toddlers. So the first thing would be it's time to hit the second-hand store, mama, to go grab yourself some new toys and, grab your kids something that's new, that's different. It doesn't have to cost a lot, something that will occupy their time when you and your husband can have some time at your home. Or perhaps it's time to just bite the bullet and introduce more screen time than you normally would. I know that screen time is a big debatable topic in this day and era, and a lot of moms have different screen time limits, or they don't even like them at all. But again, to make sure that you have this time with your husband, it may be something that you and your husband can talk about, that may be a compromise that you make for this season, for this time. You can always take the baby monitor with you, right? If you're concerned about your child being alone in a room or not having enough space, you can take the baby monitor with you in the room next door and actually set up an intentional date. Now, what does that look like, inside your home? Well, could you and your husband take a bath together? According to your comfort level, you can have your child in the room, of course. I know my husband and I have many times gotten in the bath with our toddler together, and it surprisingly is very intimate and very sweet, even though our toddler is there. Do you maybe dance to your wedding song? Put on your wedding song, even if it's in the middle of the living room or off to the side in your bedroom. Put it on and dance together. And if your child wants to come join you, welcome them. Maybe you also, prep or order your own food, your favorite food, and light some candles up. Again, your kids don't have to be completely out of the room. It's all about the presence and the ambiance that you set, and not let it have to be two separate things. You can also maybe play a board game with your husband that you really love, or even massage. My husband and I, we often will massage each other in front of the TV, sometimes with our children here and around. And, sometimes it's not feasible to do it alone. And for you too, it may not always be feasible to have your toddler, say, occupied or watched or asleep when all of this is going on. So that doesn't mean you should place romance or time with your husband aside. Second best to having, the time aside for your husband would be to, why not, involve the kids. Our son loves to dance with us when he sees us put on a song and we're dancing. He'll jump in or he'll snuggle with us. And even lately, he's actually helped his daddy give a massage to me. So where it may not be perfect, it's definitely something in this season when you have littles. It's a great way to just blend in both of your loves, your love for your husband, your love for your kids, and just bring it into a space of, just acceptance, and letting go and letting God. Your kids will not be this needy and this little and this demanding forever. So know that this is for a season, and this is how you and your husband can survive, but also thrive this season, and make sure that you keep your marriage a priority, and that you guys connect, and that you guys continue to show your children a healthy, happy marriage. That is one of the best lessons that we as parents can bring to our littles. Hey mamas, what did you think? Hacks 1, 2, 3, which one stood out the most to you? Or which one are you going to do? The best way you can let me know which hack spoke to you is to go on over right now to Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. Let me know which one you want to try and what one resonated with you. And also feel free to throw in a hack number 4 or 5 or 6 that come to your mind and that you and your husband do together. Another great way that you can connect with me is to go ahead and join my free Facebook community, where moms of littles that want to find balance and raise Jesus-loving littles all come together in a non-judgmental space and are there to connect and to be real and raw together. It's a beautiful space of friendship, of being able to open up and communicate and share, and it's completely free. So you can find us at the show notes below, or go ahead and just type in any URL, momnationcommunity.com. One more quick note. I know I already said earlier in the episode to go check out my episode 34, where a dear friend of mine, Krista from Money Mindful Moms, talks about how to budget for experiences with your family versus diving in and just spending more and more money on more stuff for your kids. Well, episode 39 is also one I want you guys to cue into. Krista and I specifically talk about how to budget for date night with your husband to make sure that you keep it a priority. So that episode definitely goes with this episode, and you can find both links to those episodes in my show notes below. I am so happy and so thankful that you caught this episode of Mom Nation. Please definitely share it around with other moms in your life that you know needs this information. And I so look forward to connecting with you on a future episode of Mom Nation. Do you wish there was a way to stop feeling emotionally drained by your life as a mom of littles? Do you wish you could have more energy for your husband without constantly feeling just totally physically exhausted? I know what it feels like to want more from your life than just being a mom. I know what it feels like to be overwhelmed with where to begin to stop the stress in my everyday life, and to have no idea what healthy habits to implement into my own home that'll actually make a difference. I also know what it feels like to be totally lost and how to create a realistic and sustainable plan that works for me in my home. And I know what it feels like to just think that you just can't be energetic while you parent a household full of littles that demand so much of you. At least one that doesn't rely on either coffee for energy or wine to distress. Am I right? Well, now I want you to imagine if you no longer felt completely exhausted at the end of your day. Imagine if you had the time to go on dates with your husband and you had the energy to give yourself some much needed me time. And if you had easy to implement systems and strategies that would allow you to be that energetic and vibrant mama you want to be, all at the same time while still raising your kids the exact way you want. Well, I have great news for you. That's why I created the More Energy Method, a customized blueprint to clear your chaos and bring back more energy into your everyday life. It's where I teach you to decrease stress while increasing your energy. You will be able to stick with this super simple plan, tailor-made for you, by the way, that will establish new healthy habits that'll unlock energy without taking away focus from your kids or require huge commitments of time. You will walk away with crystal clear clarity of exactly what to focus on. You'll walk away with a plan that'll help you exactly know how to do it, and with the confidence as a woman, wife, and mother to make the changes you need to and keep them for good. So mama, if you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and exhausted the moment you wake up and instead feel rejuvenated throughout the day and go to bed satisfied, even as a busy mom of littles, then there's no time like the present to take this step for yourself when you right now can actually get 20% off during the month of April and May. This offer will expire come June 1st, and I think we can both agree you deserve this freedom right now. Plus, when you buy now, you get my special bonus where I show you exactly how to implement this blueprint with your husband and unlock his own energy too. So go, head to energyformoms.com. I even have the link below to make it very simple for you. It's time to lose the stress while gaining yourself back and have endless amounts of energy for yourself, your husband, and a life beyond just your littles.